Hi, everyone. Welcome, tech enthusiasts. I'm Deborah Gardner, author, keynote speaker, and your host for this electrifying International Hospitality Students Day 24 event, a live virtual event brought to you by Grand Valley State University Hospitality and Tourism Management Program from the beautiful Grand Rapids, Michigan. We're so super excited to have all of you future hospitality stars from high schoolers, college students, university folks from around the world here with us with a packed, fun-filled excitement of a day with the top industry leaders of our profession. And next up, get ready to meet a tech wizard who turns technology into pure magic. From starting out in motion picture production to becoming a top association show management guru. He's now leading the charge in innovation and experimental tech for global audiences. And I'm talking about the CXO, Troy Peters from C's Productions. So get ready for your questions. Let's jump into the tech world and see what's new and exciting for your career in hospitality and tourism. Welcome back, students. We are here for International Hospitality Student Day 24. And I am so delighted to introduce who I've known for a long time and know he is good at what he does, Troy Peters. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you so much for having me on the program, Deborah. It's amazing what you've been doing with this podcast. I just want to put that out there. Everything you've been putting out has been just so great to watch and so important, I think, for our industry.
Well, that is so flattering from a tech guru like yourself. So thank you. That really means a lot to not only me, but my entire team that makes this whole podcast shine. So thank you so much. And what I discovered about you recently, even though I've known you for a long time, you really are a student for life. So this is a perfect show for you to talk to students from around the world. But I think that you find that it's not just your student life on the job, but the actual degrees you have accumulated, my friend. I mean, wow. Tell us about them.
Yeah, I think, there's two people that I kind of have stood out in my life. Obviously, one's my father, and my father was a professor and an instructor his whole life, and he always had the approach of, I want to discover something new every day. I want to feel like that's something that fires you up and keeps you moving ahead in your career. And then I think Walt Disney even said that, I want the approach of every day seeing the world like a child, where it's new, it's exciting, and that's the world we live in, right? We work in this industry of creating experiences, these new, exciting things we've never seen before, experiences. And so I really hold those close. And so I've had a few certifications. I got my biggest one was certified technology specialist, which, as Deborah, you kind of mentioned in my bio, that I started out in motion picture production, but then I fell in love with live event production, and was on the events team for a large international trade association for many years, and continued to grow frustrated that we weren't leading as our event, sort of they were like everybody else's events. And it's like, what's going to set us apart? And so that was right around when the iPad came out. So we started iPad wayfinding devices and use those to help. And so really trying to understand that and understand the technology that goes behind live events. I went and got my certification and continue to do so, continue to keep it up, and now speak to those that are getting certified, which is just that full circle of loving to give back now. So, yeah.
Yeah, and if anybody ever gets a chance to look at your LinkedIn profile, I mean, the education behind it certainly explains why you're so successful today. So I would love for the students to learn from you, what does a CXO do, and what does C's production, what do they do? What is your focus, or what's so special for your clients and attendees of an event you're producing as a CXO and working at C's production?
Great questions. The CXO role is something that came from Chief Experience Officer role, is something that came from computer programming. So you always wanted a CXO who was in charge of the user interface. So really looking at, you've got your engineers, and in this world that we work in, we've got these engineers that are so tech forward and understand, they live in the matrix. I always say they're seeing the ones and zeros to make these events come together, but you need somebody that understands what the bridge is. So sure, we can engineer and design the most amazing looking show that's complete with Cirque du Soleil performers and invisible screens and LED walls and audio and lighting to make this thing. But if you're not really looking at the customer, which is your attendee, you're not really taking the right approach. You've got to have somebody that's looking at that journey of what's it like to show up at the airport, get to the venue, all the technology touch points that are there. And actually before the airport, before you even register for the event, that whole story and that journey of really understanding the technology it takes to have somebody just have that beautiful experience of being excited to go to the event, attending the event, and then coming away from it not being able to wait until they get to go again, right? That sort of summer blockbuster sort of vibe is really what we're trying to do. And so C's Productions is a production company based in audiovisual and production company based in Southern California. We work all around the world and produce these events, usually pretty high touch. We do things that are 10 people in a room, but they have that really high touch sort of board retreat, but they want to use touch screens or implementation, or they're producing an event that's a hybrid where they've got a lot of remote viewers or attendees. So really allowing us to come in and do that all the way up to the, arena size shows where we've got 10,000, 15,000 people in a room, and we're doing all of the rigging and the flying of screens and staging and lighting and sound to go along with it. So
wow.
But that's kind of what we do. It's all about the journey. It's the journey. We like to take people through the journey, right?
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Well, and what you just described, it's like you've seen it all, you've done it all. So what experiences have you seen or produced lately that are exciting for you right here today? And what kind of budgets do you play with?
Yeah, budgets are all over the place. There'll be, something that we'll do here locally in the city for the San Diego Zoo, right? One of our favorite clients. They just had an event where they were, the pandas are coming back to America, and they got the first pandas. And so it was a huge press event. We had the governor of California speaking, and we had to deal with Secret Service. We had a lot of foreign press and dignitaries from all around the world. So everything from that, which is, a modest sort of show, up to, multi-million-dollar events that are televised, that are, that are part of primetime television. So you'll see a little bit of everything. But yeah, so kind of all over the place, but that's what
exciting.
Have that journey through all of it, no matter what, right? Even when you're doing a press conference or a sales conference, you've got to have a story in place.
And I would imagine every day is a different day. Something always new and different, new challenges, new ways of finding solutions, together with your team. Day in and day out, it really does become a family. And I know, again, with your background, the licensings and the certifications, like the AI enhanced event professional you have and certified tech specialist, how do those latest trends and certifications in AI and tech help make a career for students in hospitality and tourism more exciting?
I think the AI certification that I got last year was probably the biggest, most exciting thing that we just did, or that I just partook in. But it was we saw it coming a year ago. We were like, AI is going to hit. It's going to hit fast and furious, and if we're not in front of it, we'll be behind it. And that's always the goal when we're working. We're a tech company. We need to be the latest and greatest. People always want what's happening next, and so I went, got my certification, got enough understanding where I could lead my marketing and content team to understand it a little bit better, and then drive them to really kind of embrace it and research the best AI platforms that we could use. And now we have embraced it to the point of, we had a keynote speaker, very much like you, Deborah, that came in and used our studio space here in Southern California and produced her entire brand new keynote, just published a book, did her whole keynote, and we built all her slides. And we did everything from used, the product that we used was Midjourney, and we took her old baby photos, fed them into the system, and had them use her likeness to create new scenarios. And you would never be able to tell that wasn't a picture of her in 1977, right? Like it was unbelievable how powerful that was. And then all the way to the other spectrum of where we're working with, a CFO that's maybe giving negative financial results, and here's their script that they're trying to do. And you can feed that into an AI generator. I mean, just Chat GPT alone will take that and put a spin on it so that you have that positive outcome, right? You're still giving the figures, but we'll find that when we're stuck or we're working with somebody that's stuck on what they're trying to talk about or refresh something that they're trying to talk about, AI has been just so lovely to have as a tool. It's not a replacement, but it's another tool in the toolbox to really allow us to continue staying at the cutting edge. Absolutely. So keeping those certifications, and to those students that are listening, like that was just a, hey, sign up for this and learn about it. But I learned enough to really move our company up a whole nother level before anybody else was doing it.
Right. Wow, that's amazing. And now, just like you and I in this business, to advance in this world and again in this business, we can't do it alone. We can't swim alone. We have to have mentors. We have to have coaches and things like that. Who helped you get where you are today that you always will remember and be very gratifying too?
I'm probably going to name a couple of people. One or two of them you might know as well, Deborah, but I'll start right from the beginning. I mean, my dad was a big part of, like, he was a entrepreneur, made his own company and all that. So that was very inspiring. But once, and then he was supportive too, right? Like you want a mentor to be. I was like, I'm going to go to film school, which, to some parents would be the same as hearing your kid saying, I'm running away and joining the circus. But he saw that as a booming industry in the 90s and supported it 100%, helped pay my way, and really encouraged me to do it because it was something I had believed in for so long. But right into film school, and then getting out of film school, one of the first films I worked on was a lighting designer named Scott Clark. And I speak about him a little bit in my LinkedIn profile, but he really allowed me to understand that you don't have to, I don't know, it's an industry where it was very hierarchy sort of based, the motion picture industry. Actors and actresses, and so there's a lot of egos and stuff. And here's this guy that had no ego, was just wanted to be your friend, wanted to help you out. I was just didn't know anything getting into the business, and he took me under his wing for many years. And then I think he might have said at one point that I eventually took over his role, and we were both working on different projects, but I was doing the same level position as him. And I think his comment was that you're succeeding if you're putting somebody else up. And, with all the board work that I do and volunteerism that I do, it's all about succession and knowing who those people are, who those people that stand out are. I think, you always hear, or one of my favorite things to say is like, you're unique, just like everybody else. You're only as unique as those things that set you apart. So being involved, getting certified, having a mentor, all those things are going to elevate you in your career so much faster and to a bigger, broader audience, more than any. And then I think the last person that I just want to mention is Stacy Techner. Stacy, I'm going to make sure you watches this program, but he is the CEO of American Traffic Safety Services Association, was the CEO of National Speakers Association, which is where Deborah and I and him have met many, many years ago. But he is somebody that I still reach out to. We'll just have dinner together when I'm, maybe on the East Coast and he's in DC, or I will just shoot a text and say, need to bounce an idea off you about, managing some of the staff here. and he will pick up the phone and call back. And he's never ever someone who, and this is what you want to look for as a student or anybody in their professional sort of path. Find somebody who's not going to tell you what to do, but is going to ask you more questions. So you pull out what you want to do, because it's in there, it's in you, right? You're in a leadership position, or you're doing what you do because hopefully it's what you're passionate about. So having somebody, a mentor or an instructor that can really know that and help find that within you is what you need.
Yeah, and
these are great questions, and I love sharing.
Good, because these are what the students want to know about our future, because the generations today, we've got 6 different ones in our audiences today, and those Gen Zs are going to be able to have the option of going to many different industries and professions out there, and we need them here in the hospitality and tourism industry, because we're the ones that are going to be fading out, and they're the ones that we want to make sure that they are set up for. And that's why this special day, annual day, will be intact from here on out. Now, I do know that the tech industry is doing really well. And as a matter of fact, PCMA this morning just released from Meetings Industry Association out of the UK. Their report came out that organizations are investing 73% into technology, more so than a year ago. So you see a lot of growth here. You see a lot of where this is a great opportunity for students that really enjoy playing their video games and and things like that to get into, right? Yep.
I think, I was just recently, there was here in San Diego, there's all industry cruise. And I was talking with some other, I think some CVB people that were on the cruise. And we were talking about, those things that do help you move the conversation forward or be able to be better at what you're doing. And I think technology, I lost my place here, but what were you were asking, you said something really important that I was like, I need to.
I love this. Well, we all have brain freezes, right? But the students are going to be even more interested in what you do. I mean, all sectors of the industry, it just seems like technology is the place to be.
Absolutely. And so what I was going to say is that, this industry is amazing. You can do anything. You can be a lawyer, but you work in hospitality. You can be in sales and work in hospitality. You can be an engineer. You can be a filmmaker. You can do anything, but you can have a hospitality focused version of yourself in this industry. It doesn't matter. Doctors that only work in this industry, right? That sort of thing. Right. And I think, as I sort of think about myself when I was a student, and then my journey of working in the motion picture industry, and one of my favorite things was when we'd be filming on a camera truck, where they'd put a car on the truck, and you'd be driving through the streets of downtown LA or whatever city you're filming in, and everybody knows you're making a movie, and the actors are in the car, and you would be sitting on the truck. Myself as the lighting designer, would be sitting on that truck, and everybody wants to be you, right? Everybody wants to be on the other side of the velvet rope. So if you are in this industry, you get to be on the other side of that velvet rope. You look at things like the DNC or the RNC conferences that are happening right now. Wouldn't you like that backstage pass, that badge that you get to wear that allows you to go anywhere you want? What about a NASCAR race? What about the Super Bowl? All of these events that I've been able to work because I'm in this industry. And it's kind of like that, like, look at me, I get to be, sorry, this is security. I will be on the other side. I will be backstage. So it is, even on the catering side, if you're working in a hotel, it is such an amazing industry to be a part of and be behind the scenes of the rest of the world.
Yeah, to meet so many different people, there's associations for everything, and I still come across those that I didn't know that was an association. But I was always jealous when you would do the celebrity awards, like global awards and things like that in LA, and I'm like, Joy gets to do that. I want to be his date or something to be back there wearing the long gown.
Yeah, I'm with you. Right?
Yeah. Exactly. So what is it that, what can students do? What do you think is the first thing that they should do to get their feet wet into the technology side of hospitality?
I think the biggest thing they could do is be involved in your local chapter of whatever hospitality organizations in your region, whether it's HSMAI, which is Hospitality Sales and Marketing Association, PCMA, which is the Professional Convention Management Association, or MPI, Meeting Professionals International. These are amazing organizations that usually have a student option, which is, if not free, only a couple dollars a year. But that allows you to start connecting with everybody that is in your industry. And so really building those relationships, those connections, so that you can excel when you're really ready to get into it, is
Right.
second.
Exactly. And speaking of these industries, you have a very big role coming up with PCMA. And can you explain to the students what that is, what your goal is, your goals are for this as well?
That's right. Yeah. So I've been a volunteer for decades, with all sorts of different organizations, all primarily in the industry or in the tech side of the industry. But I've volunteered for many years as treasurer, as education director, as all those sorts of things with MPI and PCMA. And the PCMA Southwest and Pacific region has decided to elect me as their president. So I will be the president of the chapter starting on January 1st. For the year. So I'm the president-elect currently. And we are just about to do our board retreat and really plan all our goals. But I can say that the biggest goal is to get as many people. We're a large geographical chapter. So we cover Nevada, Arizona, Southern California, and Hawaii. So the goal is to have an event, both a networking event and an educational event in all the major markets. So Los Angeles, San Diego, Las Vegas, Phoenix, and even one in Hawaii. So really allow our members to get reconnected. We've sort of dropped the ball a little bit, I think, since the pandemic, and not really brought our education events and our networking events back up to where they should be. So that's going to be my goal, and I love it. It is essential to who I am as a person, as I think a better person, being able to connect with these other industry leaders and be able to give back, right?
Right. What a special and big role to have. And I'm sure you welcome students to attend these chapter meetings at the same time.
Absolutely. Right? Yep.
All they have to do is, contact the chapter or yourself and invite themselves. It's just a matter of asking and making it happen for yourself. I mean, how special would that be for a student to sit at a table with you and all that knowledge and wisdom that you're going to be able to share with them, because that's key. We want to do that so they don't make the mistakes we made along the way. But yeah, the students need to really take advantage of it and see what you're going to be doing, because someday they may be in that position, and hopefully they are, because this industry is all about volunteerism. But here's the thing, you being so busy and now with this role, work-life balance is important, especially to the younger generation students that are watching today. How do you do it? You are like father of the year. I don't know how you balance it, but somehow you do. What's your secret?
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you love, right? If your job is what you love, then it's not that hard to find that work-life balance. Perfect example, I'm here at the office. I live in Seattle, but I run a team here at the office in San Diego, so I'm here a week every month. This week, my kids are traveling with me. I've got 10-year-old twins, and the two of them are hanging out in the other room, and we're going to head to the beach in a little while, but that's how you find the balance, right? Throw them on the airplane with me. Like, you got one more trip before you guys go back to school. Let's do that. But really, it is recognizing your time and really trying to just call everything out. So.
Yeah, I bet they love that. I mean, we get to go to work with Dad. Woohoo! That's pretty special. That must be them ringing the bell too. So here's as we close out. Gosh, I'm just so excited. I want students to really get a chance to talk with you. But before we let you go, the main question is, what does International Hospitality Student Day mean to you here for 2024?
Yeah, and again, thanks so much to Grand Valley State University. I think it's amazing that they're sponsoring this and sponsoring you for this. So Hospitality Students Day 2024, you prepped me to think about this right at the beginning, but I think it really is about knowing there's a path for you. Doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter what your piece of the pie is. This industry has a spot for you. And so I think as a student, just being open, being involved, being engaged, keeping your sights out there and reaching out. I mean, we're in such a lovely industry where our job is really about bringing people together, connecting people, and allowing them to have conversations, that I think it makes it easy for anyone in the industry or in the education, starting to get into the industry, to find a path and find a way in, and just ask the question, raise a hand, reach out to one of the organizations that I mentioned. But
Yeah,
I think it's that, right? It's successful all the time. So having that next generation come and fill the spots. I know my kids, and yes, that was my daughter texting me. I've got it set. I forgot. I turned my notifications off, but I can always get them from my kids. So
there it is. There they are. They're like, Dad, where are you?
I locked yourself out of my office. So
I don't know how you do it, but I'm sure a lot of students will be in your shoes someday, so they'll be asking you for sure. But we'll get you off and running with them for sure by just actually letting the students know, hey, you're more than welcome to contact Troy and hear his website, his email, LinkedIn. Is there any other way that they can connect with you as well?
I think email, LinkedIn I'm checking all the time. So that's probably the best.
Yeah, wonderful. And you're wearing Grand Valley State University's colors today. So that's cool. You're very, very, very supportive. So we are just so delighted to have you on today. And by golly, I know working with you, I love the C's Pro, because it's like you all are pros. There is no doubt about it. So students out there watching and interested in the technology sector of the hospitality and tourism profession, by all means, here's who you contact as soon as possible. And I would imagine too, you don't have to wait till you graduate. There's always internships. There's always summer and holiday jobs there's events always going on. So try it and see if you like it, even if you're interested as well. But wishing everybody, thank you so much, Troy, for being here. Wishing everybody International Hospitality Day 25.
Thanks so much, Deborah.